Alright everyone, so we are going to go into the encounter cards as quickly as we can. This will be the second half of the video, of course, so if you don't feel like you want to get anything spoiled for you, I would just recommend stopping right here. But if you want to see some of them, I'm just going to go through them really quickly. I'm not going to really give too much insight into them, other than maybe just showcase them, because I don't want to spoil too much for myself either. So first up, we have an objective ally. We have Tamarth. Any kind of correction, I'd love to, someone please let me know. He is a unique objective ally with 1 willpower, 3 attack, 3 defense, 3 hit points. The traits Dunedain, Ranger, and Warrior, and has a response after an enemy engages a player, give control of Armathiel to that player. If Armathiel leaves play, the players lose the game. So everyone's familiar with that, that second line that all these cards seem to have. I think this is pretty neat after an enemy engages a player. So, I'm sure there's going to be some cards in here that might mess with him. Maybe, something like what we had with, what was his name? Eriador, where he was getting trapped under a side quest because he was being captured by orcs. Maybe we'll get something like that in here, but I think this is pretty neat. And his 3 defense is certainly pretty good, although I'm always more comfortable using them to attack, these objective allies because I don't want to risk losing them. Or you can always quest on them too for an extra willpower. Moving on, we have the pack leader who has 1 engagement cost. He has 4 threat, 5 attack, 4 defense, 8 hit points. He's unique. He has the traits creature and warg. He cannot have attachments. He cannot be optionally engaged. And he has a forced effect which reads, after pack leader engages you, exhaust a character you control for each warg enemy engaged with you. So this certainly seems like a card you do not want out. He seems like he might be pretty tough to beat. I wonder if there's a quest. I'm going to go to the quest at the end of this, but I imagine he's going to be forced to come out at some point. And I wonder if there are others up. Okay, there's only 1. Good. Pretty cool. It looks like he'll be pretty fun. Next up, we have the Northern Warg, which some pretty gnarly artwork. He kind of looks like a hyena / tiger going on, if you can see the stripes right here. He has 30 engagement cost, 2 threat, 3 attack, 1 defense, 4 hit points. He has the traits creature and warg, and he has the 1 revealed effect. Each warg enemy gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. We see a lot of cards, like this, so he doesn't seem too bad, but he does have a shadow effect, which says, after this attack, attacking enemy engages the next player, then makes an immediate attack. Deal a new shadow card for that attack. So that's pretty nasty. I think, I know on Cardboard of the Rings they mentioned this a podcast or 2 ago, but the shadow cards that make extra attacks are probably some of the worst, because you're usually, your action advantage already is kind of tight, and it just makes it so much worse, and you have to exhaust another character, even if you have another one that you can afford, to exhaust to defend. So this is pretty gnarly. We have 4 of those. We're going to have the Bloodthirsty Warg. He has 35 engagement cost, 2 threat, 4 attack, 2 defense, 5 hit points, the creature and warg trait, as these auras I'm assuming going to have, and his text reads, while Bloodthirsty Warg is in the staging area, it gains forced. When it becomes night, Bloodthirsty Warg engages the first player and makes an immediate attack. As I think we've seen in some of the spoiler cards, there's going to be a day-night kind of mechanic in this quest. Making an immediate attack is always something tricky, but he doesn't seem too bad. He's only got 2 defense, and if you can maybe bring it down to 0, you can maybe I'm going to say gut shot, but I know that's not it because of I'm in Magic the Gathering mode right now, but I know there's a tactics event that can maybe take him out. So we have how many of these? We have 2 of those. We have the Hunting Pack, which has 40 engagement cost, 3 threat, 6 attack, 3 defense, 6 hit points. Again, the creature and warg traits. It cannot have attachments. While a player is making an engagement check against Hunting Pack, it gets -1 engagement cost for each damaged character that player controls. I think that's pretty neat. Just reading that off the bat, I love the theme of this card that, I guess, as your players are getting more wounded, this roaming pack of wargs are getting more attracted, I guess, to the scent of blood or you being damaged or anything like that. It's pretty creepy. I like this. This is really neat. The 6 attack is certainly pretty strong. The 3 defense is just enough to avoid any shenanigans with that tactics event I just mentioned. This looks fun. The fact that he can't have attachments either is pretty difficult, but he's got 40 engagement cost, and I think most decks, thankfully, can maybe find a way to work around it. So this is really neat, even though it looks like it might be tough. Can't wait to play against it. Next up, we have what I would say is some of my favorite art so far in the encounter cards in this quest is the White Warg. Has 20 engagement cost, 2 threat, 2 attack, 3 defense, 3 hit points. Has the creature warg types, traits as usual. And a forced effect, after White Warg engages you, deal 1 damage to a character you control. 2 damage instead if it is night. Obviously, that seems like it could get out of hand, especially if you're running, a Hobbit deck, and you don't have any allies out. This could really put a damper in things, but as we've already seen, there's at least that one tactics attachment, the Raven Winged Helm, that can mitigate some of that damage, but again, it won't go on Hobbits, it'll go on something with Sentinel. He's definitely going to come in pretty early because of his 20 engagement cost, but he doesn't seem too hard to kill. His shadow effect reads, if it is night, attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. Again, these are some of the worst shadow effects. If you can, this is one I would say best avoided. Definitely would try to cancel this. We have 3 of those. This is some pretty cool art. We have the Wolf of Angmar, has 25 engagement cost, 1 threat, 2 attack, 1 defense, 3 hit points. Again, creature Warg trait, has Surge, everyone's favorite keyword, and reads, while it is night, Wolf of Angmar gets +2 attack. So I think this is pretty simple. We definitely need to have some of these fodder enemies. We don't want to be dealing with, horrible enemies all the time. And he still can pack quite a bit of punch. 4 attack is still, nothing to sneeze at. But he does have 1 defense. So again, with the Tactics Aragorn hero, this could be pretty fun to take out. He does have a shadow, which reads, attacking enemy gets +1 attack, +2 instead if it's night. So pretty run-of-the-mill, pretty simple. Glad to see there's at least a few run-of-the-mill enemies in here and nothing crazy. And I have to say, I think this art is pretty neat. And I guess, to go with my little art spotlights that I try to do, this illustration is done by Crystal Sully. So, excellent job. Moving on, we have our locations. We have the Eriador Wastes. It comes in with 3 threat. It has 5 questing points. It has the traits Arnor and Plains, and it reads, while Eriador Wastes is in the staging area, no more than 5 progress can be placed on the current quest each round. Travel, the first player engages a Warg enemy in the staging area and deals it a shadow card. So this is kind of interesting. I imagine there's going to be a quest in here that brings Wargs into the staging area, but maybe if you kill them pretty quickly, I guess this has the chance to whiff. If you could just travel and there's no Wargs in there. So free travel effect, potentially. And I would say try to get rid of it because depending on how many quest points are in this quest, only 5 each round is pretty rough. This right here, we have the Warg's Den. It has 4 threat, 1 questing point, the Arnor trait. It's immune to player card effects. It has a travel effect, which reads, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Warg enemy, reveals it, and puts it into play, engage with him. Shuffle the encounter deck. A lot of quests have locations like these. Thankfully, it only has 1 questing point, so it's pretty easy to get rid of, but it's also immune to player card effects. So definitely makes for some interesting choices. I kind of like how this is designed, that you can't just Asphalth it away or Northern Tracker it away. You at least have to get it into the active location slot. Next up, we have the North Downs, which is 1 threat, 4 questing points, the traits Arnor and Hills, and it reads, while it is night, North Downs gets +2 threat. Okay, doesn't seem too bad, but of course I'm sure the night mechanic is going to make things quite difficult as we go through the quest. Its shadow effect reads, attacking enemy gets +1 attack. If this attack destroys a character, remove all progress from the current quest. That could be pretty devastating, so maybe this is kind of hating on chump blocking, which we've been seeing a lot of recently, and I'd say for the past set or two. We have a weather card, Sudden Darkness. When revealed, if it is night, raise each player's threat by 4. If it is day, flip the time objective to Nightfall. So this is obviously where the night mechanic comes into play. It has a shadow effect. Put the topmost Warg enemy from the discard pile into play, engage with you, and deal with a shadow card. That's pretty nasty. So there's going to be a lot of surprise attacks in this quest. So I guess anybody who personally does not enjoy these extra attacks and gets kind of frustrated, maybe avoid this quest if you can. But I mean, this looks really fun if you enjoy combat. This quest is looking pretty cool. And we have 2 of those. Now we have some pretty gnarly art here of a poor, looks like an elk or a reindeer of some sort, getting taken out by 2 wargs. Predatory Wolves, which is a treachery that reads, when revealed, each player must choose either discard the highest cost ally he controls, or search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Warg enemy, reveal it, and add it to the staging area, and then shuffle the encounter deck. I think I would always, I don't know, if I have my favorite ally out, I would certainly just go grab the Warg, but if I have a bunch of 2-cost allies and I'm trying to swarm, then I would just discard, an ally as quickly as possible. And then it has a shadow effect, exhaust a character you control. So I feel like this shadow effect is probably one that's going to feel like no big deal, at one point in the game, and then when your action advantage and your your action economy is pretty tight, it's going to just kind of put a huge wrench in your plans. So now we have the Nightfall objective, which I'm assuming, yep, it's double-sided. So it reads, if it is night, progress cannot be placed on quest cards. Encounter card effects cannot be canceled. Okay, that's pretty rough. Forced, when it becomes night, reveal an encounter card. Also, forced, at the end of the round, flip this objective. So at least it's going to give us some kind of break. And let's see what Daybreak does. So Daybreak, another objective, has the time trait. It says, it is day, enemies do not make engagement checks. Forced, when it becomes day, return each enemy in play to the staging area. And also reads, forced, at the end of the round, flip this objective. So this looks like it'll be pretty fun. Also, this artwork is really neat. I'm a really big fan of this. This is done by Wibben, it looks like, if I pronounced that correctly. Lastly, we have our 3 quests. Go to the setup side real quick. We have Across the Wastes, which says, setup, set pack leader aside, out of play, okay. Make Shrouded Hills the active location, add the time objective to the staging area with Daybreak face up. The first player takes control of Amarthiel, shuffle the encounter deck, and reveal 1 card from the encounter deck per player. So pretty run-of-the-mill here. The other side has 20 quest points, and it reads, while it is day, each hero gets +1. When it becomes night, raise each player's threat by 1. So obviously threat mitigation is going to be a really big thing in this quest because every other round your threat is going to at least go up by 2, you know, no matter what you do. But I do like the global willpower boost. That's pretty neat. Howling at Night quest, which reads, when revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until X Warg enemies are discarded. X is the number of players in the game. Add each discarded enemy to the staging area. So at least they aren't revealed, but this is kind of like some of the other quests we've done where you kind of go through some heavy questing and then next thing you know you get attacked by all the enemies at once, kind of like the Dunlin Trap. And the B side has 15 quest points, has 2 forced effects. One reads, when it becomes day, each player draws 1 card. That seems pretty fun. When it becomes night, discard 1 non-objective ally from play. Discard 2 non-objective allies if there are 3 or more players in the game. So this seems pretty rough. Definitely want to like quest through it as quickly as possible because I could see this getting really out of hand. Lastly, we have Battle with the Pack, which has a when revealed effect. Flip the time objective to Nightfall, add pack leader to the staging area, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until X enemies are discarded. X is 1 less than the number of players in the game. Add each discarded enemy to the staging area. So again, it's like another retaliation from the Pack of Wolves. And the B side has only 5 quest points. Reads, pack leader cannot take damage unless there are at least 5 progress tokens on this stage. That's always frustrating. Forced effect, when it becomes day, discard all progress from this stage. Even more frustrating. And lastly, it says the players cannot defeat this stage while pack leader is in play. If pack leader is destroyed, the players win the game. So that seems pretty fun. This is definitely, if anyone's a big fan of combat, this is going to be a really cool quest. However, it seems like questing is still, as always, very important. I'm really excited to play this. So anyway, that's it for the unboxing. I hope everyone enjoyed or at least tolerated this first attempt at an unboxing. I know we had a few noises going on in the background, and I hope my monotone voice did not lull you all to sleep, but this is my first attempt, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below on anything you would recommend I do moving forward. And again, thanks for watching. Have a good one.